Do you think that he needs you?
No, I don't think he needs me. I think when you want something bad enough, and if you get it, it could be the worst thing that could ever happen to you. Because if I whoop his ass, it's gonna be the next guy. There's gonna be a whole new fan base of somebody.
From dominance to dread, Jon Jones turns the spotlight on Tom Aspinall with a chilling live warning that shook the MMA world. Jon Jones, the reigning UFC heavyweight champion, remains the center of speculation in the combat sports world, with anticipation building around a possible matchup against interim champion Tom Aspinall. The future remains uncertain. UFC CEO Dana White recently expressed hope that a decision regarding the potential fight would be made within weeks.
What I'm about to ask you, you're not going to say is the beauty of what we do, because I know you're sick of the question. Does Jon Jones not want to fight, or does Jon Jones just not want to fight Tom Aspinall?
Listen, Jon Jones has been an interesting human being to deal with since the day he got here. But I will say this about him. You would never hear me out, talking about he's the GOAT and he's the this and he's the that if Jon Jones didn't want to fight people. Jon Jones has never, ever said, I'm afraid to fight this guy, or I don't like this fight for me, or any of that stuff.
So if, for instance, he doesn't fight this guy, who would you like to see him fight? Or are you going to wait until he fights this guy?
I don't know. We'll see how this thing plays out over the next couple weeks. But yeah, if we can't get this fight done, we'll move on quickly.
However, in a prior interview, Jones expressed little interest in returning to the octagon anytime soon, giving fans mixed signals about his intentions. In his conversation on the Full Send podcast, Jones made it clear that while he's not calling it retirement, he doesn't feel a strong desire to fight right now. He described fighting as being deeply embedded in his identity, but also admitted to feeling indifferent about stepping into the cage again.
Retired? Is he fighting again?
I don't want to say that I'm retired, because fighting's in my blood. Right now, I could really care less about fighting. I've been doing it my whole life at a very high level. And when the itch comes back, and if it comes back, then I'll do it with my whole heart. I'll do it to the best of my abilities.
Having spent his entire life competing at the highest level, he now finds fulfillment elsewhere. He spoke about enjoying his impact on fans and embracing a more peaceful, influential role outside of competition. According to him, the physical battles may be behind him for now, replaced by a focus on being present, accessible, and inspirational to those who admire him.
But right now, I look around and I realize what's true, what's real. I see the way people look at me and the way I make people feel. And it's an extraordinary thing. It's a true blessing. Now my job is to serve that, give that to my fans, be reachable, touchable, let them know what I have inside. That's who I am right now. I've punched and kicked.
Still, the possibility of facing Tom Aspinall continues to loom. Jones acknowledged Aspinall's skills and potential, offering him praise and wishing him a successful career. However, he also delivered a pointed warning, implying that getting what one desires isn't always a blessing. In his words, chasing a fight with him could backfire for Aspinall, suggesting that the young Brit might be unprepared for the consequences of getting what he wishes for.
He's been saying about you.
I think he's awesome, man. I think he's awesome. I think he should go on and have a wonderful career.
Do you think that he needs you?
No, I don't think he needs me. I think when you want something bad enough, and if you get it, it could be the worst thing that could ever happen to you.
Despite his apparent detachment from the fight game, Jones seems aware of Aspinall's repeated call-outs. Aspinall has gone as far as to suggest that Jones is effectively retired, even naming himself the real heavyweight champion. Jones, however, appears unbothered. He openly admitted to enjoying his role as a provocateur, describing himself as the ultimate troll. He explained that he's currently enjoying the rewards of his career and is not easily impressed or motivated by new contenders.
I love being the ultimate troll. I'm in a spot right now where I'm really enjoying the fruits of my labor, all the hard work I put in. He's not in a position. He's not in a position to excite me. It's just the truth.
In his view, defeating Aspinall wouldn't change much. It would just lead to the rise of yet another challenger backed by an enthusiastic fan base. He compared this cycle to his past experiences, recalling the days when fighters like Quinton "Rampage" Jackson, Rashad Evans, and Lyoto Machida were built up as his most dangerous threats, only to be ultimately overcome.
Because if I whoop his ass, it's gonna be this. It's gonna be the next guy. There's gonna be a whole new fan base of somebody who everybody believes in. I've done this my whole adult life. I remember Rampage fans years ago, Rashad fans and Lyoto fans. I literally have replayed this story so many times in my life.
While fans and fighters grow increasingly restless, Jones insists that his role within the UFC also involves patience. He mentioned that behind-the-scenes developments dictate much of what he can or can't say or do.
I'm a company guy, you know, and there's a lot of things that's happening behind the scenes where my job is just sit and be still and take the punishment.
For now, his job is simply to wait, absorb the criticism, and support the UFC's broader interests. Though he could easily retire or declare his intentions, he seems content letting time unfold naturally. He reassured that he does expect to fight again someday, but there's no specific timeline for his return. Right now, he is focused on personal matters, his family, constructing his dream home, and expanding his brand.
The job of the UFC is to do what's right for the company. I could easily just say, I'm not fighting. My job is to chill. And that's what I'm doing.
I know, you're a smart guy. Do you think after the UFC, let's say you do fight again, would you ever do a fight in like dirty boxing or something?
Yeah, I think I will fight again in the future. I think I will fight again. And where the future of combat sports is going, it's going to be amazing when I pop back up. But right now, I'm just focused on so many other things, like family and like building my house, like building this brand.
Despite growing pressure from fans and media alike, Jones has shown little concern about public expectations. Instead, he's been enjoying life overseas, even celebrating the success of his seminar in Thailand by posting on social media. According to him, several people from the United Kingdom traveled just to meet him, something he attributed to Aspinall's recent social media attention. It was a subtle nod to the Brits' relentless online push to get the fight booked, but it didn't do much to ease tensions. Aspinall, for his part, wasted no time in responding. In a recent interview with Daniel Cormier and Chael Sonnen on their show Good Guy Bad Guy, the Englishman dismissed Jones's claim that they had already agreed to the fight. Instead, he painted a different picture, one where Jones was essentially retired and moving on from the sport.
Nah, man, Jones retired. What are we talking about, guys? John, you guys don't follow John on social media?
I don't follow him on social media. He said that.
No, me too, actually. Me too. But the guy is living his best life. He's had a fantastic career. We all know. We know John's a religious man, so I want to say God bless him moving forward in what he does with his life and his career. And you know, we move on. We move on. I'm the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. I'm ready to take on all comers, get this division moving again.
He praised Jones's legendary career, even blessing him for whatever comes next, but he made it clear that the division can't keep waiting. Aspinall declared himself the undisputed heavyweight champion and expressed frustration with the delays, saying that both fans and fighters are growing tired of the stalling.
Us guys have been waiting around too long. You know, the contenders are getting sick of it. Everybody's getting sick of it. Even the fans are getting sick of this stuff. So John's retired and it's time that we move on.
His lack of urgency, however, has drawn criticism from others in the MMA world. Former two-division UFC champion Daniel Cormier, who lost twice to Jones during his own career, offered a different perspective. According to Cormier, the current situation is less about disinterest and more about fear. He argued that Aspinall represents a unique kind of challenge that Jones might no longer feel equipped to handle, especially at the age of 38.
Let me tell you why it's never been someone like Aspinall. Because of the way the roles have changed. If this was Jon Jones at 28 years old, no worry for him. And Aspinall would not be the biggest threat to him. The reason Aspinall is the biggest threat to him today is because he's 38 years old. Because he's lived a life of excess, partying, living, doing all those things that back in the day got him into trouble. Sure, we have not seen him doing those things yet. I mean, obviously, he still has a good time. I don't know if it's to the extent that he did before, but Aspinall's the biggest threat today because the roles have reversed. At 28 years old, John would have seen Tom a million times over and fought him already.
Cormier highlighted the difference age and lifestyle can make, pointing out that the younger version of Jones wouldn't have hesitated to fight Aspinall. In his view, Jones has lived a hard life, filled with distractions and indulgences that may have caught up with him. That, combined with Aspinall's youth, athleticism, and the evolution of the sport, makes this matchup particularly threatening for the current champion.
That's where the difference lies. That's where the difference lies. The difference lies in him knowing that he is a tad bit slower. We can all see it. We all have eyes. He's a tad slower. It happens when you start at 19 and at 21 become the world champion. You've been the world champion for 17 years. Of course, you're going to miss a step. But you know who hasn't? It's Tom. And that's where the dangers lie. That's where the worry comes from. So that's why we're seeing a man say, this guy doesn't really excite me. When in reality, it's exciting.
Cormier believes that Jones isn't afraid in the traditional sense, but rather that he's aware of the risks involved in facing someone like Aspinall. Losing at this stage could tarnish his legacy. Therefore, it might be easier for Jones to step away quietly rather than jeopardize the reputation he has carefully crafted over the years. According to Cormier, Jones's dismissive comments about Aspinall not exciting him could be a smokescreen to mask genuine concern.
But John at 38 recognizes that this dude's a little better. He's not afraid, like I told you guys a long time ago. He just doesn't want to get knocked out. He doesn't want that. John Jones prefers to let his legacy stay as is, with the caveat that he didn't fight Tom Aspinall and run the risk of fighting Tom Aspinall and getting beat by Tom Aspinall.
Frustration is not limited to former rivals. Heavyweight contender Curtis Blades also voiced his disapproval of Jones's absence. He criticized the stagnation in the division caused by the champion's inactivity.
Like, the first thing you start off with, John Jones, I view him as retired. Unless he proves otherwise, he's out of sight, out of mind. So I'm not even thinking about John. That's what he wants. He wants you guys to ask him, what do you think John's going to do? I don't care. I don't care.
With Jones not committing to any fight, Blades claimed it becomes impossible for other contenders to map out their careers.
Yeah, without the movement, where are we going to go? Like, eventually, number 5 is going to move up and get a higher opponent. Number 4, number 3, and so on. If he doesn't fight, like I said a month ago, I would like one to be stripped. Like, we all get it. He's the GOAT. He's great. But if you're not going to be active, what are you doing holding the belt? What are you doing holding up the division? I get what he's doing. He enjoys this. He enjoys his name being talked about. I'm over it already. It's been, I don't even know how long it's been since he beat Stipe, but it's been long enough. I think he should be stripped.
He believes the UFC should take action and strip Jones of the belt if he continues to hold up the division. Blades suggested that doing so might either prompt Jones to return or force him into a formal retirement. He emphasized that while Jones has earned his place as the greatest of all time, the sport must move forward.
I think, like I said earlier, him having a belt and him refusing to fight Aspinall, it just halts the division. It makes it impossible for any of us to have any future projections. Like, how can I project when who knows who's got the real belt, who's got the undisputed belt? We need to get to the bottom of that. And like I said, my answer is you strip him. It's not that hard. It's been done a bunch of times before. You strip him, and if that pisses him off, maybe that'll get him to fight. If not, he just retires, which is all right also. He's, like I said, he's a GOAT. He doesn't have to fight, but if he wants to hold on to that belt, he needs to fight.
Among those stepping into the conversation is none other than Alexander Volkanovski. The UFC featherweight champion, known for his straightforward takes, didn't hold back during a recent appearance on Mike Perry's Overdogs podcast. While respectful of Jones's legacy, Volkanovski firmly believes that holding a title comes with responsibilities that can't be ignored. For Volkanovski, being a champion means defending the belt, not sitting on the sidelines indefinitely.
It's obviously, I've always been, if you're the champion, defend your belt. It's a responsibility. You can't just you know, I'm going to sit out. I think you need to be reasonably active. I think you need to fight whoever's there. If you've got an interim champ, it's a no-brainer. You know what I mean? So I don't want to throw heaps of shade, but I mean, look, I know he's proved himself. Everyone's like, oh, look what he's done. It's fine. It's like, yeah, no, not really. Don't hold up division just because, you know, I know your resume is incredible. What you've done is incredible. You know, you're considered the greatest of all time. Yeah, we get that. So if you don't want to fight, just retire.
He didn't aim to disrespect Jones outright, but made his stance crystal clear. If you're the champ, you need to fight. Volkanovski stressed that defending a title isn't optional, it's an obligation. He argued that having an interim champion waiting in the wings makes it even more important for the undisputed champion to step up. By delaying the fight with Aspinall, Jones isn't just making a personal decision, he's affecting an entire division's momentum.
You're done. Or if you want big fights, you're going to have to vacate the title. Like, it's a responsibility. That's how I've always looked at being the champ. It's a responsibility. You know, I would like even a bigger break, you know, or have no pressure of wanting to fight or anything like that. But I mean, it's a responsibility. I want to be active. I want to, you know, make sure, you know, obviously make that money as well. But I mean, at the same time, I want to, you know, sort out the contenders and do your thing. So it's that's just how I look at it. I don't want to throw shade at him. He's done great things, but I don't see how. I don't know if I want to fight him when you're the champ. I don't think you have a choice when you've got an interim champ just standing there waiting for how long.
Meanwhile, the anticipation for a potential Jones versus Aspinall clash has only intensified. The longer the wait drags on, the more fans feel robbed of a fight that could redefine the heavyweight division. Even within the fight community, opinions are becoming more direct. Many believe this showdown isn't just necessary, it's inevitable. Pundits are calling it a true passing of the torch moment, while others argue it's the final test of Jones's legacy.
But they keep asking about Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall, and everybody that has asked the question has prefaced it from a standpoint that Jon Jones is holding this fight up and that he is refusing to fight Tom Aspinall. Now, that may well be the truth. I'm just here to bring to you guys, we don't have that evidence. I mean, we do not have that evidence. Let me tell you what we have evidence of. Jon Jones is the undisputed champion. Let me tell you what we have evidence of. Tom Aspinall is the interim champion. Now, while we fiercely adhere to whatever rules we make up as we go, historically speaking, the interim champion fights the undisputed champion. Like an interim champion does mean one thing historically, which is you're the number one contender.
Jon Jones is facing intense criticism from fans and fighters alike for continuing to delay a showdown with interim heavyweight champion Tom Aspinall. As time drags on with no official fight announcement, pressure within the MMA world is reaching a breaking point. Many believe that if Jones has no intention of defending his title against the surging Brit, he needs to either retire or vacate the belt immediately.
And we're now in a discussion where that isn't true, where an interim championship might actually be defended. And that's the part where I gotta tell you, I don't buy it. There isn't two options for Jon Jones. There is for Tom. In fact, for Tom, there's 3 and 4 and 5 options. Jon Jones will be offered a fight with Tom, or he cannot fight at all. And when you're a prize fighter, electing to not fight does not make you good at negotiating. It makes you unemployed. And Jon Jones has done great, but Jon Jones has not made walkaway money. He just simply isn't at a point in his life or career that he's going to be walking away.
Whoa, Jon Jones is not playing around. That warning to Tom Aspinall? Cold, calculated, classic bones. If you thought this rivalry was heating up, you haven't seen anything yet. The heavyweight division just got a whole lot scarier, and we're here for all of it. What do you think? Can Aspinall back up the talk, or is he biting off more than he can chew with the GOAT? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We read everyone. If you enjoyed the breakdown, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to Ring Rivalry for all the latest fight news, beefs, and breakdowns. And share this video with your fellow fight fans. Let's keep the rivalry going. Until next time, stay sharp, stay savage. This is Ring Rivalry.